Coming up, we'll talk about a knife that's near and dear to my heart and my ancestry. Auxiliary Manufacturing has a new one out, and I have it. It's damn sweet. And then we'll take a look at 12 very unique folding knife designs. I'm Bob DeMarco. This is the Knife Junkie podcast.
Welcome to the Knife Junkie podcast, your weekly dose of knife news and information about knives and knife collecting. Here's your host, Bob the Knife Junkie DeMarco.
Welcome back to the show. One of my favorite comments from this past week was from I've Always Been Here. Nice long comment, but salient. And this was on the combat knife episode. He said, "The soldier's knife is my number one favorite genre. I'm convinced that there's just about nothing a good soldier knife can't do. But as an infantry marine, I can confirm that opening MREs is by far the most common reason to unsheath a blade. That and 550 cord. And unfortunately, as a fellow knife junkie, it kills me to say that a big fixed blade was almost always a chore to have around, mostly because all our needs were met with a multi-tool and an E-tool. Big knives, heavy, when we're literally leaving food behind to save weight and forget having anything extra hanging off of me that didn't absolutely have to be there. The only exception to this was making camouflage from foliage for equipment and positions in a wooded environment. Anyway, love me a soldier's knife. The Ontario OKC3S was a formidable one. Love the content. I think I need to go choose an ESK. Thank you for that amazing comment. I've always been here. I have heard this before, even though we like to have Rambo dreams, to have a knife like that out in the field with all the other stuff you're wearing as a soldier or Marine is just way too much. But it's great to hear it, straight from the horse's mouth in such a concise way. So thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I appreciate all views and comments and likes and subscribes and all that. So please keep doing so. And again, I've always been there. Thank you. And thank you for your service. All right. That said, let's get to a pocket check.
What's in his pocket? Let's find out. Here's the Knife Junkie with his pocket check of knives.
In my front right pocket today, proudly, I carried the new Microtech SOCOM Elite Ram-Lok. I'm in love. I love this knife. I've carried it every day since I got it, which was about a week ago. Has a lot of differences from the original SOCOM Elites, though it has the main spirit, the main profile, and everything like that. It's just a little bit thinner. It doesn't have that distal taper from thumb ramp to pommel. And it's got a much thinner blade stock. I am in love with their clip points. And this reminds me a lot of the old/original SOCOM clip point, except it's got this gigantic choil. As someone on Thursday Night Knives put it, a heartbreaking choil. And to me, it could be, except it looks cool. And the looking cool part of it takes care of the fact that there's a giant choil there for me. What's the giant choil for when before there was never a giant choil? It's to match up or to fit right behind the back of the Ram-Lok there. The Ram-Lok is a pretty long mechanism as it uses a little post and a coil spring and then this big giant block there of titanium or aluminum. Actually, I'm not sure what it is. Probably titanium. This comes up against it right behind where the edge terminates. Luckily, it looks great and doesn't really bother me. And yeah, I'm shallow. Looks do mean something to me. But I got to say, the cutting performance here is amazing because this blade stock is substantially thinner than the original SOCOM or the SOCOM as we've known it thus far. And it's very, very thin behind the edge. So just a beautiful blade. I love it. I love carrying it. Aluminum. I love aluminum handles. The way this feels in hand is great. The frag pattern, which some people have decried as ugly, feels great in hand and is quite grippy and nice. So very, very thrilled with that recent purchase. I'm only going for folding knives these days. I kind of flipped the switch. I'm a little more irresponsible with fixed blades these days and only getting folders that really do it for me. And here's another one. This is the Jack Wolf Knives Gunslinger Jack. This is the third iteration of this, or the third run of this particular knife. This is the folding, locking, front flipping, and slightly larger version of the Gunslinger, or the Sharpshooter Jack, which was the very first slip joint that Jack Wolf Knives released. With the gun stock handle, which is so comfortable. It looks cool. It looks like an old school gun stock from like an old lever rifle, but also in hand, this little step is incredibly comfortable, and the handle widens out for your two smaller fingers, and the grip is fantastic. Here we also have a fantastic clip point blade, traditional clip point blade with that nice swoopy clip. Still, you have a centerline tip there, very useful. Slightly downward angle here so that you can sharpen through that belly through years and years of use. However, this is S90V, so unless it's your only knife and you use it hard your whole life, you probably won't have to sharpen it all the time. But a really, really excellent knife. Full height hollow grind on that gorgeous thing. Next up in my waistband was the ever awesome Hogtooth Knives Ruffian. I love the Ruffian, and the Pocket Ruffian is really sweet too. It's basically this scaled down for pocket carry. But one of my all-time favorite EDCs, especially during the winter and autumn months when I have heavier clothing on. This does have a formidable handle, little chunky, but nicely rounded so that it doesn't harsh my soft spots around the sides, which I intend to get nice and rock hard for summer. Yeah, that's right. I'm going on a fitness kick, guys. Hollow ground 154 cm and beautiful, a beautiful handle here with those blue G10 liners and the natural canvas micarta. I got this for my 51st birthday. Got a chance to sort of put it together or sort of choose the parts on my 51st birthday when I was at Matt Chase's shop with my parents, picking up a knife my dad was having made for my mom. All right, lastly here, my ESK was the awesome and beautiful Jed Hornbeak Necromance. I really want more Jed Hornbeak knives in my life. This thing is incredible. It's got probably the most comfortable handle in my entire knife collection. It's unreal. His knife making abilities are incredible. This is a little fighter. It's about a 4 3/4 inch blade. This 3V, 3V blade steel, just beautifully machined. The main bevel is hollow ground. That top swedge is Scandi ground and very sharp. You've got two places to put your two runs of jimping. Sorry, that's what I was trying to get, for your thumb. One for this saber grip, one for the sort of Filipino grip up here when bracing behind the blade. Just an incredible knife. I would love to see this in a 7-inch bladed version. That would make my year. I'd love to see that. But this is what I had on me today. Tell me what you guys were carrying, guys and ladies. I had the Microtech SOCOM Elite Ram-Lok, which does have pretty nice action. I had the old Jack Wolf Knives Sharpshooter Jack. I had the Ruffian from Hogtooth and the Necromance from, look at that thing. That is so beautiful. Jed Hornbeak, who makes amazing knives. I wish he could make more. I wish he could clone himself and make more. All right. I do want to remind you that we have an incredible Patreon here. And I want to show you one of the reasons why. Jim works hard on our Patreon page, and he makes some incredible features. But one of them one of my favorites actually is this one. It's Maker Monday, where you can learn about the various makers whose knives we know and love, like Buck Knives. This is Al Buck talking all about the history of Buck Knives and the start and his influences, his legacy, and of course, his knives, and some cool facts there. Definitely go check it out. This is about Al Buck on Patreon. We have a lot of other really cool things besides Maker Monday. We have the Friday funnies. We also have some alliterative things like This Day in History. That's an awesome one too, where you can find out knife information that goes, well, back in history. And who doesn't love that? But what do you get from Patreon? You get interview extras. This is something that's great. I had Trent Costello. I'm calling you out, Trent. I love you, buddy. But Trent was like, why are there videos I can't watch on YouTube? I'm unsubscribing, because that's Trent. He's a hothead. Love Trent. But he was correct. You can't see some videos like the interview extras that you only get if you're a member. You can be a member on Patreon, or you can be a member on YouTube. And those interview extras are from the Knife Maker interviews. So check those out. I love those. But those are the only videos you can't see if you're not a member. So if you're really into these interviews and you want to find out more about the makers, become a patron. TheKnifeJunkie.com/Patreon, or scan the QR code on your screen. By the by, if you sign up for an entire year, 12% off. All right, that's TheKnifeJunkie.com/Patreon. I'll say that one more time. That's TheKnifeJunkie.com/Patreon.
Why pay full price for gas and food? With the Upside app, you don't have to. Just open Upside, find nearby offers, and earn cash back when you buy gas or eat out. Pay like normal and get real money back in the app. No coupons, no hassle. Just easy savings on things you already buy. Download Upside today and start putting money back in your pocket. Learn more at TheKnifeJunkie.com/saveongas.
All right, first up in Knife Life news, another incredibly cool looking slip joint clip point from RoseCraft blades. They have a lot of them. I've totally lost track of their single bladed clip point slip joints. But I love RoseCraft, and something I really, really admire is the fact that they dropped their entire modern knife lineup to really focus on their slip joints. That is their bread and butter. That's kind of how they got known. They're a relatively new company that was, and their modern folders always just kind of didn't quite get there for me the way their slip joints. Not that they were trying to please me, but they were trying to please a lot of people like me, and they're doing it with that move, and I love it. This new one is gorgeous. It's called the Hatchie River Jack, and it's got that really nice curved sort of trapper style handle that widens, softly widens towards the pommel. You got a single fluted stainless steel bolster and liners, and then that gorgeous clip point blade. This is their second 14C28N bladed release. Up until this point, up until the knife right before this, I should say, they were D2 exclusively. Now they're dipping their toes in 14C28N, which I know pleases a lot of people because it's a great steel. And most of us have a good deal of 14C28N in our budget knife collections. This has green. You have your choice of green or brown micarta. Covers and that beautiful bomb shield. I like that shield a lot. Gorgeous little knife. I might have to pick up a new clip point slip joint from RoseCraft blades because I gave one away to the marvelous host of a show I produce at work, and now I'm kind of short one clip point slip joints from RoseCraft. This one is 3.9 ounces, available soon. As we record this, $62 is the MSRP. Next up, a legend from Boker Knives. The Exskelibur. I know, weird name. Kind of sounds like Excalibur, but it's a conflation of the names of the two designers, Mike Skellern and Fred Berger. They're two South African knife makers. South Africa has a rich knife making history, especially when it comes to modern luxury, modern frame lock folders, that kind of knife. But the Exskelibur now has yet another incarnation. This is a 3.4-inch drop point. This one looks a little more spear pointy to me. The blade looks a little tweaked from the other Exskeliburs. I really like it. I especially like how that edge terminates at the sharpening choil there. Looks a lot like a traditional SOCOM Elite, actually. But this is in their proprietary steel, this is the first I'm hearing of it, the BKR-10. BKR-10 is Boker's proprietary blade steel. It's analogous to VG10. The Exskelibur was one of the first and very popular front flippers. This one does not have a front flipper. This one has thumb studs. It also has micarta handle scales with a crossbar lock. And knowing Boker, it'll be smooth as silk. 3.2 ounces, available soon. MSRP $98, but I'm sure you'll find it for less. Next up, quick announcement on one of my favorite EDC fixed blade knives and also EDD fixed blade knives, everyday defensive fixed blade knives, is the Kopis Designs Elvia, a collaboration with the great and powerful and ubiquitous Ed Calderon of Ed's Manifesto. Fascinating guy, super nice guy, and extremely knowledgeable when it comes to knife combatives, as he spent many years on the Mexican side of the drug interdiction wars. This is based on a fruit knife that his mother carried always to do work and to make the family meal, but she also defended the family with it in a mugging. And so he always relied on a knife of this shape. You can see a knife of this shape, that Pakal style tip down, edge in shape, across a lot of different companies, and many of them are his designs. But this one by Kopis Designs takes the cake. I have one and I love it. And it's released exclusively by KnivesShipFree, and so we will announce it every once in a while. This was first out in 2020. I think that's when mine is from. It's a 2.5-inch, 154 cm Pakal oriented hawkbill blade. How do you like that? Pakal oriented hawkbill blade with a Scandi grind. Wickedly sharp, both on the edge and the point. And that point is oriented for reverse grip self-defense when you're in caveman mode. This comes with a curved back, or what we're seeing right here, the ramped back, where your thumb can nestle into the back of the blade there. It looks beautiful too. It's got an injection molded handle. Used to be only black. Mine is black, except I had mine Tsukamaki wrapped. But now you can get it in black, OD green, or desert tan. Comes with a Kydex sheath with that little hook, so you can drop it in your pocket and no one will know you have it until you pull it out and the hook engages on the inside of your pocket. The sheath stays in there and you end up with a knife in your hand. Available now, $125 to $142, depending on the model. That's a wicked awesome deal. Go check it out at KnivesShipFree. All right, lastly, Buck. We were just talking Buck. Love Buck. Buck's 13th stealth release is here. These stealth releases are special builds of knives that they classic knives in their lineup, and they just kind of drop it quietly, and then those in the know get to pick them up. So this is their 13th stealth release. This is an automatic Buck 110 with that drop point blade. We don't see that often. 3.75 inches of drop pointed CPM Magna cut. So beautiful with that Paul Boss heat treat. What's Paul Boss heat treat? I always hear that about Buck. Paul Boss is a guy who heat treats knives for Buck and can really is known for maximizing the steel in the heat treat. So he can get 420 to be an amazing steel, like on my sort of run-of-the-mill Bucks. But if you get this, you get Magna Cut, which is an amazing steel, plus his maximizing of that steel. So there you go. Paul Boss heat treat. It's hollow ground, so you know it's going to be wickedly sharp, like all Buck 110s. Carbon fiber scales, beautifully marbled carbon fiber scales there, with a nickel silver bolsters, of course, that back lock, and a shield shaped button. So the shield you see there You depress that and the button and the blade flies out. This, of course, does not have a clip because it's a buck 110 and not one of the newfangled ones. It comes with a black leather belt sheath, 7.5 ounces, so a chunky girl here, available now for $300. Go check it out. All right, coming up, we're going to check out the Knife Life news. I'm sorry, state of the collection. That's knives I've gotten, new knives. And then we're going to check out 12 totally unique folding designs. But before we get there, let's take a step back in history with the first tool.
You're listening to the Knife Junkie podcast. Here's some cool knife history with the Knife Junkie's The First Tool.
When most people hear stiletto, they picture a knife that snaps open with a sharp cinematic click. But the story starts much earlier, in Italy, centuries before the switchblade ever became a movie prop. The original stiletto was a narrow thrusting dagger not built for slicing, but for slipping through gaps in armor or ribs. Even the name traces back to stylus, a pointed writing tool, which tells you everything about its shape. It's slim, pointy, and all business. Now, fast forward to Maniago. We all know Maniago, a town in northeastern Italy that has been tied to knife making since the 1400s. In 1453, water from the Colvera River began powering the hammers and grinders that helped turn local blacksmithing into a true cutlery industry. Over time, Maniago earned its nickname, the City of Knives. Sounds like my kind of place. And that matters because if the Italian stiletto has a hometown, this is it. The switchblade version, the one that collectors covet, became iconic in the 20th century. After World War II, automatic stilettos from Maniago found a huge audience abroad, especially in the United States. Families like the Beltrames became part of that legacy. According to sources tied to Maniago collectors, the Beltrame family began producing knives after the war, and their company produced automatic stilettos from 1958 to 1969, which later generations carried the style forward. And here's the twist. The Italian stiletto became famous partly because it looked dangerous, elegant, and just a little rebellious. It wasn't only a tool anymore, it became a symbol. Movies and pop culture like Rebel Without a Cause turned that spring-fired opening into pure drama. And lawmakers noticed too. In the United States, Congress passed the Federal Switchblade Act in 1958, which Doug Ritter and Knife Rights has been working tirelessly to undo because it restricts importation and interstate commerce of automatic knives, which only deepened the knives' outlaw mystique. It's illegal now. That's why the Italian stiletto switchblade still fascinates collectors today. It carries Renaissance roots, village craftsmanship, post-war export history, and a reputation built as much on sound, silhouette, and the silver screen as by steel. If you like this kind of talk, this kind of knife talk, do you like this kind of knife talk? Well, join us on Thursday Night Knives at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on our YouTube channel, where we talk all about knives for 2 hours from 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Standard Time, right here on YouTube. It's so much fun. We have friends, we have a crew, we invite new people. Lots of new people have come. Recently, it's swelling up. We do knife giveaways. Maybe that's why it's swelling up, but actually it's for the knife talk. So come join us and don't bore the people around you. Bore us. It's not boring. We love it. Anyway, join us Thursday Night Knives. All right, here we go with the state of the collection.
Want to sell your custom knives online? With LaunchCart, you can easily create your own e-commerce store. No coding required. LaunchCart is designed for knife makers like you, with built-in tools to showcase your craftsmanship, manage orders, and grow your brand. It's fast, flexible, and even includes low-cost payment processing to help you keep more of your profits. Start your online knife store today at TheKnifeJunkie.com/launch and turn your passion into a business.
Here it is. I want to show you this. Oh, this is the new auxiliary manufacturing pocket Bowie frame lock. So this is part of the Deadhead series. Deadhead is the production series made by Miguron, by Auxiliary Manufacturing. I've been carrying this fixed blade pocket Bowie, also made by Miguron, for months now. I love this thing. For a while, it was attached to the strap of my backpack, but then I thought the better of it and removed it just in case. But I love this knife. I carried it. I've used it a lot, and now this is the frame lock version, the folding version. And man alive, I love it. I've had it for a few days as we record this, and I've been carrying it tirelessly. Actually, I've been doing this 3 clip point blade carry, which has been a little nuts. The Gunslinger, and the new SOCOM, and I've been loving this. Now, it's got a swoopy clip point, but the point is still low. It's got a recurve, but the point is still low. This is a really good balance of all the things I like in a blade. I do like that tip to be midline or lower so that it's easy to use when cutting stuff out, like shipping labels, and that's what I use knives for a lot, that kind of thing, or pull cutting across a box, that kind of thing. But I still love a clip point, and I still love a swoopy clip, that sort of curved clip. So we're seeing this here, but we also have that recurve, and the recurve really helps in slicing. It feeds the material you're cutting into the edge as it swells against it. I've always been a fan of the recurve, but too dramatic a recurve can compromise other things like point placement. So this reaches a sort of magical, what do you call it? A golden ratio, a golden mean. What is that expression I'm reaching for? Anyway, really, really nice. Beautifully fluted titanium here. Really nicely done with that sort of signature coffin-shaped handle that has really done Michael Jarvis and Auxiliary Manufacturing well. I want to show you something interesting here. Here's the fixed bladed version, which is also an awesome knife. They fit really nicely in hand in that, in a saber grip here, the curves of, or I should say, these 3 facets here, here, and here nestle into the palm. So you not only get a great feel for cutting in this saber grip, but you also kind of back up the blade with the pommel on a thrust. And that's sort of exaggerated in this blade because the handle has to be larger because it's a folder. So I'm a huge fan of this. I've been carrying it for a little, like I said, ever since I got it. M390 blade steel, very, very, very sharp. Awesome knife. I can't wait to do the close-up video on this because it's a beauty to behold. I love it. All right. Let's talk, before we talk about this, we're going to get to some really unique folding designs, but I want to show you this. Jimping ain't easy. Jim came up with Jimping ain't easy. Now, we had someone, now I don't remember who it was, but someone on Thursday Night Knives said that this would be would make a good logo. Jimping ain't easy. So here it is. Here we have it. Jim has created 2 designs. He couldn't decide which one he liked better, so he released both. Jimping ain't easy. You remember, what was that movie called? Hustle and Flow. Remember the song from that? That's what this is based on. So here we go. Jimping ain't easy. Go to TheKnifeJunkie.com/shop and check out our many, many pages of awesome knife designs and humorous designs and stuff like that for t-shirts, everything, t-shirts, hats, aprons, coffee mugs, whatever you want, you can get it. at TheKnifeJunkie.com/shop. So go check it out. All right. First up, I got 12 designs here that are super unique folding designs. For one reason or another, whether it's a mechanism or whether it's a blade grind or whether it's an overall design. So these are the ones that jump out at me. First one is a knife that I have heard as referred to as the very best knife from this brand. And I am talking about the Civivi Fusion. There it is. The Civivi Fusion FG. This thing is designed by Malaysian knife maker Snex, and it features this incredible lock that is just unique in that it grabs the. I'm sorry. Let me show this off. I'm stunned to silence and awe. But it drops this little tab from the top fin into the notch at the back of the blade there. The engagement, the sort of user engagement, is similar to a shark lock, but the whole concept behind how it locks is different. It is a very strong lock, much like the shark lock. And then the design here is very interesting. You have a very utilitarian sort of, I'm going to say it, it's sort of a kiridashi. It's sort of a sheep's foot dashi, we'll call it. Because, and I think it's like a kiridashi because you have a nearly straight edge rising up to a centerline point. But then I'm saying it's a sheep's foot because you have a straight spine, breaking and dropping down to the point, very much like a sheep's foot. So probably a sheep's foot, but we're going to call it a sheep's foot dachi because it rolls right off the tongue. This one is just the standard 14C 28N version of it. And it's got, Nitro V version of it. And it's got G10 with the lightning holes and all that. So a unique looking blade within reach from an esoteric designer. I'll call him that. And also, by the way, you can see right there through that hole how the lock engages, which is kind of neat. I'm talking about this hole right here. Snex, for years, I followed him on Instagram. I don't know if he's still there, but he would do daily kind of updates on building these kind of knives. However, he would build 12 of them or knives with super unique locks or with no hardware or all sorts of crazily engineered knives, and very, very lucky collectors got them. But now through Civivi, we can all enjoy his really cool stuff. Okay, that's the Vision FG. Second up is from Off-Grid Knives. This is the Raptor. It's got a very unique but useful blade. Now, when I first saw this knife, I must admit, my first reaction was, oh, just trying to be different, just trying to do something different, just for different sake. I was looking at all those different facets meeting at this point right there, and I was looking at that edge. Oh, it's a recurve, but the recurve's at the front. And so I don't know. I just thought it was like just trying to grab attention. And then Kerry Orifice of Off-Grid Knives sent me one, and he sent me two, actually, over, I think this is the second version of this, out of D2. Oh my God, this is such a useful blade design. And not for nothing, I'm sure it would be awesome for self-defense too. I have a feeling with a slashing motion, this would just be just a devastating blade. Also piercing because it's so wide. But it's incredibly useful for breaking down boxes, for all sorts of utility chores, because it's got that incredible straight edge. And then at the tip, it's got the recurve. You can do all sorts of great, super precise tip work with that recurve up there. You've got an incredible point and then really incredible shearing capability right behind it. So really awesome knife. My one issue with this knife, now I have to admit, I don't like the way the blade looks, but man, I love the way the blade performs. And that's what matters here. So this is love that came after looks, or came and then looks, it's like the love, whatever, it doesn't matter. Right here, the flipper tab there, the way it marries up to the handle, I just don't like. And I told Kerry as much, and he's like, it's just kind of a design requirement. And he said it sticks in his craw too, but walking me through it, he was just like, I just had to go with it. And so I believe him. He makes awesome knives, or he designs incredible knives and has them made by some of the best makers. This was made by Best Tech, I believe. So really, really awesome knife, and a 100% unique blade. I defy you to show me another blade that looks like that. All right, that's the Off-Grid Knives Raptor. Next up, it seems like, it seems like no list on the Knife Junkie podcast is complete without a cold steel. And this one is unexpected. You don't see me show this one off too much. It's the Immortal. I don't carry it that much. I do like it quite a bit. So why is this one in this list? Why is this unique? It's just a Tonto, Bob. Well, that's right. It's just a Tonto from the midline of that blade down. You've got a hollow ground straight, which meets a flat ground forward portion. You've got that secondary tip there, and then you've got a very sharp point. But then you go north of the main grind, and you see a whole lot more blade. And you see a blade that looks a lot like a gladius. And that's what I like about this. You don't see too many gladius-shaped blades. This one is essentially for the cutting part, for the cutting portion of your chores. This is an American Tonto. It's like your run-of-the-mill American Tonto made by Cold Steel. But then when you go north of that main grind and you go to thrusting and piercing, you've got something a bit more devastating, I'd say, because of how wide it is. And that swedge up front is about the same width as the flat ground portion of the sharp side. So it's going to slip into, with that diamond cross section, whatever you're thrusting into very easily, and it's going to make a big hole. And then you come aft here and you check out this handle. It's got a nice, generous handle. This is like one of the only Cold Steel knives that Jimmy Slash didn't like. It didn't fit his hand right, but it fits my hand right. And you've got these, it's sort of partitioned. You've got a nicely done pommel here with an aluminum jimped butt cap for striking, but also for incredible purchase in the reverse grip. This is an awesome knife. This is one of those knives they shouldn't have discontinued. If you ask me, they just brought back the Colossus, but now it's called the Immense because someone else made a knife called the Colossus after they discontinued the Colossus. So now it's called the Immense. They should bring the Immortal back. Why did they stop? It's so cool. And you're like, Bob, they stopped because it wasn't selling. Well, it should. It's unique. It's cool. It's an American Tonto and a Gladius put together. Two of the greatest blades history has ever produced. All right, next up, this is a really cool one from Al Salviti and Regiment Blades. This is the Low-Viz. I mean, already looking at it closed, you can tell it's a unique design. Slap it open there. Actually, here, I'm going to slap it open. Let me show you how Al recommends you open this. So it's in your pocket like this. You draw it out, and then you slap it open like that, and then you're good to go with it. So pistol shaped, obviously it looks a bit like a revolver, but not inspired by a pistol, actually inspired by punching. Al Salviti is a lifelong fighter, a lifelong martial artist, and a resident of New Jersey. He has taught many tier 1 operators in certain knife and empty hand techniques. He's a really great guy, and he teaches some really cool martial arts. But he came up with this design, and you will know that there's the Colonel knife that is came after this, but that knife shares the same concepts here. But basically, Al works in power punching. He's a power puncher, so he can hit really hard. He focuses on the fists, and this knife plays to that strength. And he's got a whole system of using this style knife. I also have a fixed blade of this, which is awesome. And a whole way of transitioning from reverse grip to standard grip, how to what? He's got a whole system based on this knife, and it's a pretty quick learn, apparently. So this knife is cool because it's got a double lock. You're fully engaged in there. When he was doing R&D on this blade, a version of this that did not have a secondary lock, I think it was made by Fox, folded on him and nearly ended his hand. But this one has the secondary lock there. So you pull that back, press that in, fold the blade. That's the Regiment Blades Low-Viz folder. Love that thing. This next one was a generous gift from my friend Dave of OG Blade Reviews. If you don't know Dave, you got to know him. He's got such an amazing collection. If you like anything I show here, you will love his channel. Go check him out. He gave me this for my birthday this year, and it is beautiful. This is the BRS Knives Evolve. BRS started as a balisong knife company, so very precise machining. And then they expanded into their Evolve line and did some non-balisong style knives. And man, this one is cool. This is called the Kopis, based on the ancient Egyptian sword, the Kopis. And you can see that in that really interesting blade shape. A little bit like the only other knife that this reminds me of a little bit is the Contigo, maybe a titch. But you got that nice belly. You still have a center line point. You have the swoop on the back and that wedge tip. It is just a really cool knife. And this is one of the very, very rare occasions where I like these non-cylindrical and weird thumb studs. Machine thumb studs that are like chevrons. They really grip the thumb or the middle finger very nicely. And that blade is coming out. If you engage with those chevrons there, that blade will fly open. It's 4 1/4 inches, so it's also unusual because it's nice and big. It's got that really nice jimping there for the thumb. I love this knife. Dave has given me a number of really cool knives over the years, and this is definitely in the top 3. I don't know. He's given me a lot of cool ones. M390 blade steel. You've got a, what do you call it? A liner lock there. A nicely jimped and chevron jimped clip really helps in pulling this out. And, but you still get a bit of presentation there. Gorgeous standoffs there. Just a really cool knife. And then they did this design dirty, and they added like a thumb ramp and an opening hole, and it ruined the design, in my humble opinion. But this one with the bolsters and that blade, man, gorgeous. The Kopis from BRS Evolve Knives. All right, this next one is really unique because I can name the amount, the number of double-edged folders out there that are not out the fronts on one hand. And this is one of them. The absolutely, positively beautiful antimatter by Arcane Design. Just gorgeous. By our friend Israel Bacchus. Look at this thing. So I know he got a little bit of help in designing this from Something Obscene company. I'm not sure if it was in the design or the relationship with Riat, but I know that Something Obscene company is attached to that. But look at that beautiful blade. This is made by Riat, perfectly made by Riat. But you got this gorgeous and very comfortable large handle. It's kind of a wide handle, but it's fluted nicely with these hollow ground chamfers here. And it just, feels so nice in the hand. And the forefinger and the thumb pinched together like many a traditional fighting dagger. Like think of the Fairbairn Sykes, or think of the Harsey Spartan dagger. You got that exaggerated pinch point right up here under the guard to do your daggery work. But this is a really nice anodized and stone-washed titanium, beautiful with that bronze plate. I don't carry this enough. I have to start carrying this again. Probably not incredibly legal in a lot of places, but that is a fully double-edged blade. That's why the handle is broad, so that the entire blade will fit in there with room so that you can't cut yourself, even if you press the fat of your thumb in there. It also looks great, just beautiful closed, beautiful opened. You've got that cool Tesla coil here. Israel is a big fan of sci-fi, and that's a big underpinning of the concept of his company. He's designed a lot of really unique and beautiful blades, but this one is still my favorite. And also the quillions on this, you can wave this knife open. So what I mean by that is you can snag this guard on your pocket seam as you pull it out, and it will deploy the blade for you. And so you can pull this out and have it in hand, opened up, ready to go. All right, next up is very unique for its blade design. This is the Emerson Knives Super, in this case, super meaning extra large, CQC 15. So all CQC 15s, whether it's the Super, the Mini, or the normal size, all have this unique blade, and that's why I'm showing this off. This is a combination of Ernest Emerson's CQC 7 blade, that's the Tonto, Americanized Tonto, and the Commander, that's the recurve, sort of bolo style blade on the Commander. And so you can see both things here. This is a recurve Tonto in a different sort of fashion than we now see recurve Tonto. We see recurve Tontos now, but we don't see the belly forward of the secondary tip right here. This knife, just in touching the belly right there, I probably cut myself. It is ridiculously sharp. I'm going to put it on the side here, and you can see that the edge is a chisel ground edge. It is V ground, meaning you have the edge bevel on both sides. Nice swedge there. But then when you get up to the edge is only on this side, which means it's half as wide as a regular edge. So it's really, really insanely sharp. And then the fact that this is a Super and the blade is a little broader, but it's still the same width, it's even sharper than the regular CQC 15 I once had. I mean, like by orders of magnitude. 154 cm on this, and the usual black G10 titanium liners, the usual Emerson get up here, but that blade is the thing that is super unique to me. Actually, and with the swedge, it's like 3 knives. Okay, so Ernest Emerson's signature Commander in the recurve and the belly, Emerson's signature CQC 7 in the Tonto tip, and then Emerson's myriad clip point blades in that swedge. Really nice knife. Also, just a great cutting knife. This is a great utility knife. It's not just a Franken bevel. It is a super useful knife. And this was a gift from Bill S. Viewer. Hope you're still around, Bill S. If you are, hope you're doing well. All right, next up is a design that when it came out and was announced years ago at this point, I remember seeing it and thinking I had to have it. I got it. It was one of my most expensive knives at the time. And I remember thinking, this one looks like I designed it. And it is the Spyderco Ulize, sort of loosely associated with the police line. And I'll tell you why. Ulrich Hennecke, the German designer of this knife, was a police officer before he started making knives and designing knives full time. And this fits within the size parameters loosely of the police model. So I remember when this came out, they were kind of associating it with the police model. Not that it was an official part of the lineup, but I love this knife so much. Why? did I say it looked like a design that you would see in the margins of one of my legal pads from work? Well, because of that, it looks like a Filipino sword to me. You've got the drop down angle of the blade to the handle. You've got that deep recurve, and you've got a really, really nice sort of lowered point and a pistol grip, which allows the thrust around. I'm sorry, not arouse. Allows that point to hit your mark on a thrust without having to change the angle of your wrist much, because it's in sort of a pistol grip configuration. This is one of those incredible Seki Japan builds with the beautiful back lock and the backspace, the back lock and the liners all look like one block of steel. I love the Seki Japan Spydercos, and this is my favorite of all of them. The Ulrich Hennecke designed Uliza. Oh, here's his maker's mark there. VG10, Seki City, Japan. Such a cool knife. Discontinued. They should bring it back. You know, you can find these on the secondary market. It wasn't a super popular knife. It came out when people had a twist in their knickers about recurves, like they're impossible to sharpen. All right, next up, this one is cool. I got this from, oh, look at that. There it is. I got this from Levon of the Knife Nuts podcast and the Lehigh Knife Show, etc., etc. You all know Levon, great guy, and he was working with some Russian companies for a little while, and he had a company called From Russia with Levon, and he was importing these really cool Ivan Bragnets and others design knives. But this one is an Ivan Bragnets design, and it's called the Crystal Knives Aurora. And I love this because it's a modern send-up of the Yakut. The Yakut knife, it's like a Siberian knife with that, it's not like, it is a Siberian knife, or a knife that is found in northern Russia. And it's an everything, do everything sort of everyday survival knife. And when you're living up there, every day is a matter of survival. But its unique feature is that big, giant, what do we want to call that? Divot in the blade, big, long, huge fuller. We'll call it a huge fuller in the blade. And so this Ivan Bragnets kind of tipping the hat to a traditional Russian blade design. And I love it. This thing is a full flat ground blade with that center portion removed. It reduces friction, kind of like you see in some Japanese chef's knives that have those divots along the side of the flat of the blade. The fact that you have that texturing in the fuller or the divot there, and it's concave there, means that all friction is like reduced to nearly nothing as you cut through something thicker. So just this first little thin wedge-like bit is what is doing the cutting. It's an amazing design. It's a very, very old design, and you don't see it on folding knives ever. So that's one of the things I love about this knife, or that's primarily the thing that I love about this knife and why it's so unique. But also it has a great handle, just by the way, nice and thin frame lock, great flipping action. And then you've got this sort of jimping all along the side. Yeah, it's fluting, but it acts like jimping. So it's grippy. It comes out of the pocket easily. And then you also have it on the clip. So really a great all-around user knife. Another one I haven't carried in a while that I got to carry again. I start carrying this again. Great summer knife because it's nice and thin, nice and light with that titanium frame. All right, next up, from my friend and one of my favorite designers, Dirk Pinkerton. This is the Folding Ferrule. This is a prototype. This will be coming out under Dirk Pinkerton Knives. You know, Dirk, he designs knives for a bunch of companies like Kaiser Concept, all the biggies. Now I'm forgetting all the knives I love by him, but I've got a bunch of them. And this one, I love his knives that come out under his own brand or his handmade knives best. And this is one from his own OEM brand, and it's the ferrule, the folding ferrule. Now, this is based on a fixed blade that he makes custom, the ferrule, and it is obviously a self-defense, a Pikal style knife. Dirk is a super nice guy, and you wouldn't know it just from talking with him. You could probably sense it, but he's a total badass and did a lot of, watched a lot of doors and did a lot of rough and tumble kind of stuff in his day. And he designs these elegant, beautiful knives that work great as EDC knives, but are optimized for self-defense. This one obviously is a self-defense knife, but even his EDC designs could easily be used in that manner. But I just love everything about this knife. I love the feather, the way the handle looks like a feather. And I love the reach of the blade, not in distance, but in angle, and how the point is right at the tip of the pommel, which makes it great for that back fist thrust. He sent me that secondary. Usually this will come with a thumb plate. Let me amend that. This is a prototype. When it comes out, it will come with a thumb plate and with this sort of waveable thumb plate. And that means you can just pull this out of the pocket. It auto deploys with the thumb plate, and you'll have it in the grip you want, just like that. This is the Pinkerton Knives folding ferrule. I could have put many of Dirk's knives in this list because they're all unique and beautiful and based on ethnographic examples, mostly. Okay, this next one is also optimized for reverse grip, and I believe may have had a little bit of input from Dirk, but this is the DC Blades Sting. DC Blades, that's Justin Carvin of Tier 1 Gear Reviews and also Squirrel Knives come together. Old Squirrel Custom Knives come together to form DC Blades. They have a bunch of really cool self-defense oriented knives out. But this one is my absolute favorite. I think it's the most elegant design, and it is also incredibly unique. This is the Sting. As I mentioned, it is super ergonomic, whether it's in this standard grip or this reverse grip. This reverse grip is incredible, just perfectly set up for a thumb wrap here on the pommel. Great for that reverse thrust. You've got a compound ground blade, nice and thin towards the pommel, and then it widens out a little bit, gets a little bit broader and thicker towards the tip, which is swedged and great for thrusting. You've got jimping on that thumb ramp, and that thumb ramp can be used, again, to wave open the blade. So that'll catch on the pocket seam and open up automatically. So as soon as this knife is pulled out of the pocket, it's ready to go in hand. You've got the beautiful swirly G10 inlays there in that nice knurled titanium handle, M390 blade steel, made beautifully by Miguron blades. That's the DC Blades Sting. All right, last up, this is the Boker blades designed, Microtech made stitch. This is the Microtech stitch. Here you can see both makers' marks on the blades. Right there on the swedge is the Boker Blades logo. And then down by the serrations is the super cool, I love that Eagle Talon logo from Microtech. This thing is beautiful. I'd like to mention every time I talk about this knife, I used to admire the look of it, but despise the handle to blade ratio. And then someone sent one for me to check out on loan. I checked it out, immediately bought one. I love this knife. It is, yes, it's menacing. It's scary looking even. It looks like an arrowhead on a handle. But this thing is such a useful knife too. It's not just menacing. It's not just a great looking self-defense knife. It is just an outstanding knife for all knife chores and knife utility. It comes in both contoured and fluted G10 or contoured and fluted aluminum. That's what you're looking at here, the aluminum version. I got this at the same time I got the amphibian. I got the amphibian in G10, this in aluminum. Kind of wish I got the amphibian in aluminum. I'm a sucker for the material, but I wanted to try both. This, of course, has that awesome Ram-Lok, like I was showing you before on the SOCOM, same locking system. I love Microtech. Now, I am a huge cold steel fanboy. I think I could really call myself a Microtech fanboy, even though I have a vastly smaller collection. I just love them. I think they're superior knives. I love Microtech knives. And this one just fits the hand perfectly and is a great utility knife. And then if you really need to get the edge as close to your hand as possible, you can come up here. All right, that is the Microtech Stitch, and that is number 12 in my list of totally unique folding knife designs. What did I miss? I'm sure there are others. I thought about, what about the Black Talon? I was like, it's not totally unique. Look at the Spyderco Civilian. And I thought, what about the Chris? Cold Steel makes a Chris. And I'm like, yeah, well, so does Beltrame Switchblades, as we mentioned in the first tool. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining me on the Knife Junkie podcast. Please be sure to subscribe here when we get to 50,000 subscribers. Dirk Pinkerton, who I was just waxing poetic about, will make us a custom knife. I say us because I will be giving it away to one of you on Thursday Night Knives when that happens. We're at about 45,000 subscribers, so be sure to subscribe. Send this to your friends, family. Send it to your grandma. Just say, just subscribe, Grandma. You'll love it. Sometimes he covers kitchen knives. All right, for Jim working his magic behind the switcher, I'm Bob DeMarco saying, until next time, don't take dull for an answer.
Thanks for listening to the Knife Junkie podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please rate and review at reviewthepodcast.com. For show notes for today's episode, additional resources, and to listen to past episodes, visit our website, theknifejunkie.com. You can also watch our latest videos on YouTube at theknifejunkie.com/YouTube.